like to welcome everyone to the November 26, 2019 Code Enforcement and Nuisance Board meeting. I'd like to go ahead and swear in the staff, please.
I'll roll first.
Hit roll first?
Yeah.
All right. Roll call.
Deere,
Yes.
Simpson, Dearbone,
Yes.
Eggleton, Thomas,
Yes.
Now we can swear in the staff. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Okay, we've had an opportunity to review the minutes of the October 22nd, 2019 meeting. Are there any additions, deletions, corrections to that? Do I hear a motion to accept?
Make the motion to accept as presented.
Second?
Thomas, Deere,
Yes.
Dearbone,
Abstain.
Eggleton. Abstain. Thomas. Okay, what do we do there? It's okay. All right. Okay.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the hearing agenda appeals. We'll go to case 1. That's case 2019-6590, citation number 2019-12099.6. The property is 2540 Nashville Road. The owners are Robert and Gloria Thomas. The respondent is Gloria Thomas, and the officer is Brad Shargarowski. Is Ms. Thomas here? Okay. Brad?
This case is the result of a roaming inspection that was conducted on the 19th of August, 2019. During the inspection, I noted the following violations. Duty of maintenance of private property, accumulation of junk, scrap, and debris, accumulation of construction, demolition, and landscape debris, exterior use or storage of indoor furniture, and numerous tires that were stored outdoors. A notice of violation was sent to the PVA listed owner and address on that date with a compliance reinspection date of the 29th of August of this year. On the screen in front of you here, you can see a copy of the notice of violation as well as the violations that were included and the date specified. In the following slides will show you some pictures of the property when the notice of violation was sent. You'll see furniture, beds, junk equipment, sinks, tires. On the 28th of August, the Code Enforcement Office received a call from Commissioner Joe Denning asking if we were aware of an ongoing yard sale and eyesore at this location. To make sure we were working a case on it already. On the 30th of August, we also received 2 additional citizen complaints about the property, saying that it was getting worse by the day. On the 3rd of September, I spoke with property owner Gloria Thomas, and I attempted to discuss the situation with her, told her about the ongoing complaints, and I extended the case in order to encourage voluntary compliance. On the 16th of September of this year, we received additional citizen complaints about the property. Around this time, I also conferred with the city's building division due to citizen information and a report that an accessory structure and building had been demolished and the debris was burned, and a new accessory building and shed was placed on the property within the last 7 days prior to that phone call. Since there were no demolition or building permits on file, Building Division Manager Jeremy Seeger started a case on that as well. Planning and Zoning Officer James Hetty also said that he would be enforcing some ordinance regarding limits on yard sales and businesses at residential locations and accessory buildings in the wrong locations on the property. And Marcus Barnett, who is the city's business license inspector, was aware of the situation already and was investigating whether the business was being conducted at the location without a permit. On the 17th of September, myself and Code Enforcement Officer Jared Poteet re-inspected the property and found that it remained in violation with no positive changes having been made. I explained to the property owners that there were numerous ongoing citizen complaints and due to the status of the property during that inspection, a citation was issued, posted on the property, and mailed by first-class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. Additional items that were added from the NOV were improperly parked vehicles and cars on the yard, hoarding of material, and accumulation of rubbish and garbage. These are the pictures from when that citation was posted, which again was the 17th of September. As you can see, the tires in the driveway. The front yard is characterized by furniture, junk, debris, different items for the yard sale that the owners were having. That's the view from the street along the intersection. Different view of the driveway with all the tires and furniture and such. On the 4th of October, Code Enforcement Officer Joe Schmidt, Code Enforcement Coordinator James Napper, Building Division Manager Jeremy Seeger, and I re-inspected and found the property remained in violation. Eventually, we were also assisted by a couple of Bowling Green police officers while we were on the scene. And we spent over an hour with the property owner trying to gain cooperation and discuss all of the different issues that needed to be taken care of. Due to the state of the property, a citation was issued on that date and posted on the property, as well as sent by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address. Compliance date on that citation was the 15th of October. During this time between the first and second citations, we continued to receive complaints from citizens and neighbors about a quote-unquote ongoing eyesore and quote-unquote perpetual yard sale, as well as had complaints about traffic hazards in line of sight when people were turning out of the neighborhood due to an increase in cars of people coming to buy things at this yard sale, and also received several reports of people sleeping in the backyard at this location. We also received a complaint during this time from an additional city commissioner. These are the pictures from the second citation. As you can see, there was some progress in the front yard from the roadway. The majority of those items were moved to the driveway or behind a greenhouse that was added to the property. These are various items of furniture, appliances, yard sale items, tires that still remain in the driveway. This is the other side of the driveway, farther away from Nashville Road. Again, as you see, furniture and tires and bins with items for sale. A bed and suitcase and sleeping items that were set up in the backyard. Some junk lawnmowers, equipment, bed frames, and mirrors. There's a motorcycle frame and some other lumber. This is another view of the side of the driveway with the tires. On the where am I here? On the 1st of November, 1st of this month, Code Enforcement Coordinator James Napper and I re-inspected and found that the property remained in violation. I did note progress regarding the removal of tires from an outdoor location for the most part, clearing of the front yard. However, due to the extended period of time to bring the property into total compliance and the ongoing citizen complaints, a citation was issued on that date. It was posted on the property on the 1st and mailed by first class and certified mail to the PVA listed owner and address on the 4th. The compliance date listed on the citation was the 11th of November, and that was since postponed due to the filed appeal. The pictures following are of, again, that further progress when the third citation was posted, which is what's being appealed today. This is the driveway with the majority of the items that had been in the front yard moved and kind of tidied up in the driveway. Still a lot of toys, clothes, furniture, different household items stored at an outdoor location. This is the side of the driveway where all the tires had been previously stacked, and there are still some junk lawnmowers and equipment there. There's boxes of construction debris and building supplies. And as of today, property remains in violation. The main violations are inoperable and unlicensed vehicles, vehicles improperly parked in violation of code on the grass or yard, rubbish, furniture, and junk, construction material, several unpermitted accessory structures and building without a permit, the outdoor storage of tires, and duty of maintenance of private property. And the case has been open for 98 days. And these are pictures that were taken at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. This is the driveway as it stands today. And there still are 2 tires outside. The majority have been moved inside the greenhouse. These are the items between the RV that has been parked on the yard and one of the accessory structures or sheds. The RV is unlicensed currently. However, Mary, the property owner's daughter, says that she's working on getting a lost title for the vehicle to get license plates on it, but states that it is operable and does run. Behind the vehicle, there are some stacks of pavers, which her plan is to make a parking surface out of, which is acceptable for a parking surface by both code and planning and zoning. So we've agreed that she's going to be working on that, but as of right now, it is in violation of code. These are some of the items that are outside that are being worked on, being stored in one of the buildings, as of right now are still exposed to the outdoors. And again, there's just several areas or piles of different items, construction debris. Under the tarp is a refrigerator, and some other appliances are there in the backyard. There are plans being made for those per Mary. And again, just different areas where things are kind of being compiled in order to be moved or stored elsewhere. This is the driveway as seen from the backyard. This is one of the this is one of the wood frame structures that is currently being built by hand. There are a total of 3 large sheds in the backyard. They are allowed to be there with a building permit, and the permits were applied for and they have been issued. However, they have to be paid for in order to be considered in force, and they have not been paid for or picked up yet at the building division. So technically, the 3 accessory sheds, the large sheds, are still in violation because the permits have not been paid for yet. And I've been working with Mary to come up with a plan to get those budgeted in the budget for the next 2 weeks to get those paid for, so that those 3 large sheds will be in compliance. This smaller shed that they are building by hand does require a permit, but it is a no-fee permit. So you simply apply for it, the building division comes out, it doesn't have to be set in the ground. It's just simply a freestanding structure because of the square footage and the size of it. However, as of right now, it's being built without a permit, so she was told to stop construction until the permit is issued and applied for. I'm sorry, applied for and issued. And again, there's some other items of lumber and construction debris that they are planning on building an additional small lean-to or shed with that would also meet that smaller requirement of a no-fee permit. Some skylights and tables and furniture, other items, truck camper tops, and different things throughout the property. So that's all I've got.
Okay, sir. Gloria Thomas, Ms. Thomas?
My daughter has to go to the car and go get her phone to get her pictures.
Right there at the... Ms. Thomas, I need to swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Okay.
I'm supposed to swear.
Have anything to say regarding what you've just heard?
All of it's true, and the reason it's all of it's true, my daughter lost her home on 1156 Cruising. And I told her, she was having a yard sale, and I told her that
Thank you, sir.
everything he says is true. My daughter lost her home. She lost her home on 1156 Cruising. So, being the mother and the dad of this daughter, Mary Louise Thomas Spears Joseph, I said, because she's heartbroken and broken spiritually and mentally and physically down because of what happened to her. So, I, being a good mother, I have to think I'm a good mother, said she can move her yard sale over to our yard, and she can sell her stuff from her yard and our yard. So, and we're doing good until you all started complaining, or them. Anybody who's got eyes and a heart can see that I was just trying to be helpful. That's how they earn their money. They earn their money through yard sale stuff. She's also a church. She gives stuff to people who needs it, and or can pay for it, and it just makes life easier on them. I feel like you all are in violation of me. I was county first. I didn't come into the city to violate your things. The city came out to where I was. Cheddar's, Kroger's, all that stuff out there came to me, to Williamsburg's Court. I'm not considered part of Williamsburg Court because my house faces Nashville Road. I tried to get permission from the post office to put my mailbox in front of my place so I wouldn't be considered part of the neighborhood, even though my house was built by the person who built the neighborhood. I know that don't make any sense, but it does in a way to me. So anyway, also, me and my husband's on a fixed income. My husband gets a pension check the first of the month, and we get a Social Security check on the second Wednesday of every month. So I'm 2 weeks short of having a paycheck every other week. So I can only do so much. I can only pay so much, and I can pay the $60 for the permits on the first or the second Wednesday of the month. And we're on a fixed income. My husband's had several strokes, and he's also got sugar diabetes, and he's also got dementia. And so my daughter kind of helps me out with that. And if you look at my feet and legs, I was in a car accident October 21st, 2017, and I'm not supposed to be standing or walking. So I'm a walking miracle as far as God's concerned and I'm concerned. I don't know what else to say. We're doing our best. We're trying to comply with everything we can do, and our money can only stretch so far. So we're doing everything, and my daughter's doing everything she could, because she went to the court hearing this morning in the courthouse over here. She got 8 days to get the rest of the stuff out, and all that stuff that you see in the front yard is from her yard, from her garage, from her basement, and she still got the house to get at her house, and her attic to clear out, and she rented a storage place to have an extra place to put stuff, and her husband works. He's a drywaller, and he only makes so much every week, and it's hard on them too, and they haven't had the money to get a place to rent because they can't find nothing under $1,400 or $1,700. When we had a house for her on September the 21st of 2017, our insurance company said we had to move, and they rented this apartment off of Lover's Lane. That's where the wreck happened on me, by the way, trying to turn it into the apartments up there, and somebody decided they needed more than one lane to drive on the road off of the anyway, so I got onto my insurance company because the rent was there was $1,700. That was more than my house payment. So and I told my insurance company, you're dumb. They wanted to rent a place on Chestnut. I told them once again they're dumb because the house, if you looked at the paint on Chestnut, it was crackled and like old skin on us old folks. If you blew on it, it'd fall off. So it was $1,500 a month. So there's nothing in this town that a person who earns under $1,000, and I'm speaking for my daughter, can rent.
Ms.
So
Thomas?
it's hard for them to find a place to rent. So my daughter is staying in my house. Her and her husband sleeps on my recliners, love seat recliners. And we're doing, like I said, we're doing the best we can. And we're not freaking millionaires. And like I said, you all came to us. We didn't come to you. The city came to us, came out there to us where we had all the grandma and grandpa rights that we needed, and now you all are infringing on my grandpa and grandma rights. So I feel like, the city should show a little leniency because of that. I know he's a pretty good guy, and but there's been places in your all city that hasn't been mowed or been taken care of. And we pointed that out to him. And we even named the streets, and we even named the people who broke the same kind of laws that we did, and people who empty lots on Chestnut towards Medical Center had tall grass. So, what's up with that? So
Ms. Thomas,
what about the side?
Ms.
Like
Thomas,
when the
let me
city
ask
comes
you-
to the county,
let me
what's
ask
up
you a
with that?
question. Let
Okay.
me ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you realize that you are still out of compliance and out of code at your home as of today? Do you realize that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Right.
Now, my next question is, you said this was yard sale material?
Yeah, that's supposed to be yard sale
Okay.
material.
Did you apply for a yard sale permit?
We was told by somebody, not one of y'all, but planning and zoning. I checked with them, and people on the hill where they are at, I checked with them, and I never met him before. And I asked him, how many times can you have a yard sale in a year? And they said at least 3 times. But because of my neighborhood situation, and I got a good spot for selling stuff, I know, because my husband used to work for, I can't think of it right now. I'm upset. Anyway, it's off of 11th Street, next to the railroad track. There's a young man there who was, come on, Gloria, think of it. Jesus Christ. Well, anyway, his boss used to sell cars there until he was told we couldn't do it anymore.
So was this a continuous yard sale over the past 3 months?
Yeah, because I was trying to help her.
Okay.
Because she really needed to get rid of some stuff, and we was doing fine, and we was getting rid of stuff. She lost her home today.
Have to wait.
Okay.
Okay.
So I've just been trying to be a good, me and my husband,
Understand.
my husband's 80, I'm 73, trying to be supportive of our daughter and son-in-law. It's not,
I need to ask one of our officers, or Mr. Hetty, do you have any idea on these permits, or counselor, do you know how long these permits can go? Are they one day when you get a yard sale permit?
I'm not aware of a permit that's required for a yard sale. Hold on, Mary. I'm not sure that there's a permit required. There is an ordinance stating how long yard sales can go and how many you can have a year. And James, are you able to? No, that James, the other James.
Well, I think that's, go ahead.
Yeah, the ordinance it's correct. You can have a yard sale no more than 7 days, 4 times a year. So there's got to be a break in between that.
And that was my question. Does there have to be a break? Can it go on for 3 months?
Furthermore, though, the concern is, and someone along the line here had asked, well, what if we get a business permit and have it as a yard sale? The fact of the matter is that the majority of these things you still just can't leave outside for long periods of time. So they have upholstered furniture, sinks, toilets, that sort of thing. I mean, Ford's Furniture has a business permit to sell furniture, but they don't leave furniture outside all night, every night. So
Well, they have a
there-
building,
there's
I don't. I'm not a friggin'
and
millionaire,
I
I'm
understand,
sorry.
but that's the concern, is that those items cannot be left out for extended periods of time, regardless of the yard sale ordinance or business licensing or any of those sort of things.
Thank you. Okay. Hold on, ma'am. Hold on, ma'am.
Let me finish the question, and then you can answer. That's my daughter, Mary.
Anything else that you would like to add to this, Ms. Thomas?
Well, like I said, they're doing the best they can with what, and they, like I said earlier, before I was interrupted, or I don't know if y'all heard me, that my daughter-in-law has 8 days to get out the rest of her stuff out of the house. And like I said, she's had several breakdowns of crying and stuff. Like I would be crying too. And if I had so much stuff, 27 years of accumulation. She lived there for 27 years. The bank sells her house from underneath her, broke the law several times. We couldn't get nobody to listen to us. She tried appeals here and there and was 5 minutes or 10 minutes late, missed the meetings here when she was on cruising. And
Yes, ma'am.
And-
We
and-
understand that.
And so we just need more patience and time. You know, we need more understanding. She's finishing the building in the backyard. She's got to put the roof on it and comply with what he said. And we can't afford to put a driveway in for right now for the RV because he said we couldn't put down blocks, I think, square blocks to park the RV tires on. And all that takes time. And don't forget the weather's been bad. And, raining here, raining there, there's things that gets in the way, and, Mother Nature gets in the way. Finances gets in the way, so, because I got her some money to rent a truck, and, she got to use it, but the money run out, and we had to let the truck go back. So we won't have any money until her husband was laid off for a week by his boss because he said if you take a day off of work, you might as well take the whole week off. So he's going to have to catch up in 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe by Christmas he'll have some money. But, I mean, his boss was mean. I mean, and not understanding at all about their situation. So, so he laid my son-in-law off for a week. And there's a week's paycheck not going to be available for them. So, and like I said, we only have so much money, and fortunately, God blessed me with refunds on my Kia car. We overpaid taxes, which got us through a couple of days. So, and then I wish I had money to rent her a moving truck so she could finish moving her, her belongings. And it's upsetting me that I can't help her out anymore.
Yes, ma'am.
So we just need patience and understanding and love and faith that we will get things done for her. I mean, she hasn't had a chance to find a place to live. And I wish I was richer so I could help her out more, but we're not. We got doctor bills and stuff like that to pay. And like I know everybody else has doctor bills, but like I said, we're on a fixed income. We can just get Social Security and his pension.
Well, Ms. Thomas, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Are there any other questions out of
I have a question. Could we go back to the slides? There was one that showed, I think, the property adjacent.
mean, if you give me a moment, I can pull up some adjacent properties here on the,
Hey, by the way, the property that's between us and Taco Bell, they sold it, so there's gonna be another business of some kind going in there. It'll be right, my next door neighbors, we don't know who it is yet, so.
While he's pulling it up, I do have one question for you. Did you say that your daughter has a storage facility as well?
She rented the storage unit, yeah.
Okay, so
But,
what,
but she didn't realize her husband was gonna be laid off for a week because he just asked for one day off, like I said. And his boss was not understanding because he did it once before to ask for a day off because they go out of town, he's in town, out of town, here and there, you know, because you know how the drywall business is or building houses is. And so,
do they
that
still
put him a week behind on, you know, getting any money.
I guess my question is, do they still have it, and if so, what's currently in it? Do they still have the storage facility, and if so, what's in it?
She put some furniture in there, I believe. Didn't you put some furniture in there, dear? She put some furniture in there. The furniture from the driveway in it.
So there is currently stuff. Is it filled up to the point where you can't put anything else in there?
No, but she's got to have a truck to put it in, you know. She's got to have a truck. She's got a truck, and she has a trailer hitch. And I had one of my people at church loan me a trailer for a couple of weeks while they was gone to the Bahamas. And she used it wisely, and she did all that she could, you know, moving from 1156 Cruising to my address. And like I said, he works, you know, 8 to 12. While he's at work, he's working, and you know, my daughter does the best she can by herself. And she has paid people to help her move and help with the yard sales, but then they get, there was homeless people. You'd think they'd be appreciative, but they was getting too familiar, you know, trying to act like family, and we had to let them go because, like, you know, we hired you to do something, not to turn into our family. But I didn't mind that, but I don't know how to say. They're trying to help themselves to take liberties, yeah. So, you know, like they're trying to treat our home like their home.
Brad, these pictures are from Google Earth, and they're a little bit dated, but just to give you a point of reference of where this property is, as Gloria just referred to, this is between the Taco Bell and Lost River Pizza, and then the old bowling alley, which is now Graves Gilbert on Nashville Road. So there's this small street here, Oak Grove, and as Gloria was stating earlier, it's Williamsboro Court is the neighborhood, which, again, because she has a Nashville Road address, she is not technically part of, although that doesn't really have any bearing on our case. But here's the first adjacent property at your request that would be directly behind their property, and bear with me just a moment here while it loads.
And they have a black fence between their property and ours. We sold them some of our land when the previous owner, Hardcastle's. Unfortunately, Mr. Hardcastle passed away. Can't be a witness.
So here where my pointer is where Ms. Thomas's property is, where these storage buildings are and such. There's the black fence that separates their property, and then, as you were asking for, here are some of the adjacent properties farther back on that street.
Yeah, when our
I
next
guess
door
the-
neighbor, Hardcastle there, if you go back to the black fence, we own that land over to the driveway of their house. And they offered to wanted to buy it from us, so we sold it to them.
I guess my point is that these adjacent properties are well-maintained. And what we have here is to be kind, an eyesore. Question, when did your daughter start moving material into your yard? What date?
I didn't know this was gonna happen. It
No,
started with
no,
my
when,
lawnmower.
ma'am,
It's
just
actually,
when? Tell me when.
it wasn't about the yard sale stuff. It was about my grass not being mowed. Like I said, I was by myself, and my husband had, you know, stroke, and he's got sugar diabetes, and dementia now.
Would you please, can you tell me when she started moving things in?
You understand what's about my grass first?
No, I'm asking you when she started moving things in.
August? This is, no, August, September, November, yeah, August.
So it's beyond the 7 days permitted to
Yeah.
have.
I knew that, but I was hoping nobody'd take notice or wouldn't mind, and when she came out and got on to me about the grass, and then she moved her stuff out there because I said she could, I was just hoping and praying that people would be understanding of the yard sale stuff, because I was told by other people who come to our yard sale that they liked it and they appreciated us being open 7 days a week so they can get stuff.
So when did you start the yard sale process? You know, prior, I'm talking about.
Can I ask my
prior-
daughter?
Well, prior to your daughter moving her things there, when did you start having these long-term yard sales?
Oh, but me, for my stuff, I haven't done any for 5 years. And that's probably why my neighbors weren't used to it. Before, we used to, me and my husband, when we was younger, we used to do flea marketing, and we sell our flea marketing stuff out in the front yard. And because the flea markets, tables and stuff like that were too high to rent, and when you, by the time you made $10 a day, and you had to pay $10 for your space, whatever you made, it went towards paying for your space, and you're not making any money. So we decided to sell our stuff from our yard, and we've been doing it off and on for the 28 years we've been there. Before the city moved out there.
So, Ms. Thomas,
Yeah.
knowing that there is a rule on yard sales,
I obeyed it at that time.
well, I'm talking about this current.
Yeah.
Knowing that there is a time limit on how long you can have a yard sale, when you've gotten the violations and haven't,
On grass first. Keep it in order.
either
please.
way, you haven't abided by what the rule is, why should we as a board take leniency on you when you haven't followed the letter of the law and
Because-
known it?
The letters of the law follow me out there. I was there before Kroger's. I was out there before all those apartments, those college apartments. I was out there. Me and my husband used to mow the grass all the way down to the corner by Chowder's when there was no sidewalks and when there was gravel road on the side. There, that was all wooded area. I feel like I don't mind. I like progress like any other person, but I still thought I was under the grandfather law.
Okay, Miss, I want to thank you for your time, Ms. Thomas, and anybody have any other questions regarding to Ms. Thomas? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion,
Mr. Deere, if I may, if the board would allow, if you wouldn't mind to have Mary speak as well, if you wouldn't mind just to say a few things. She and I met at the property today for an extended period of time, and she has been working on some of these items, but I think that she has a couple things that she wanted to let you guys know about her plans and as far as how soon she expects some of these issues to be taken care of, just because she has been working very hard on it,
Okay.
if the board would allow.
Okay, Mary?
Thank you.
I'd like to say for the record, first of all, I don't feel
Mary?
like it's a yard sale.
You swear-
I affirm to tell the truth.
Mary, what's your name, please, full name?
Mary Thomas Spears Joseph.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Do affirm to.
Thank you.
I know that swearing doesn't make a liar an honest man or an honest man more honest. Fact of the matter is that my home was stolen from me. I was there 27 years. I raised my son and my grandson. And you accumulate a lot of stuff when you're raising kids. And then I had a lot of stuff, and then I got married recently. Not only did I get married recently, but my son went to prison. My son went to prison, and he dumped all of his stuff on me. And then I got married, and my husband moved his stuff in. Then his father died, and I ended up with my father-in-law's belongings. Then his mother lost her house, and then I ended up with everything. She couldn't move from there. And it all got dumped on me. And I've been trying to help everyone. While that was all going down, my parents' house burnt. Then they were in a car accident. Did I mention I was in a car accident before their house burnt? My back was injured. I already had disability that I've been dealing with for 20 years. That was before the car accident. I don't get disability because it was taken from me because I moved out of the state. And then when I tried to move back in the state, they didn't want to give it back to me. I feel like they need it worse than I do, really. Seriously.
Mary, forgive me for interrupting, but I think what would help the board the most is what we talked about earlier today about some of the timelines and plans you
I
have
just want them to know
for the
what I've
vehicles.
been dealing with, because I'm dealing with all of it. I'm a sick individual who's been diagnosed to be terminally ill. I've been given a wheelchair 20 years ago. I'm not supposed to be walking or standing here myself. My mother's not supposed to be walking or standing here. And yet somehow God lets us walk around, and I don't know why, especially when I keep getting dumped on. Fact of the matter is, I've worked my ass off, and I lost everything. And I couldn't even stop it. And it didn't matter who I asked for help, whether it was legal aid, or whether it was attorneys in this town, or churches, or whoever. I've gotten no help. Now, I've done my best to comply with you all, but when everybody's dumping stuff on you, and by the way, these were all good belongings. They weren't just junk. Everybody wants to call people's belongings junk. I loved my father-in-law. He was a Vietnam vet. He was a good man. I ended up with his belongings, and it's not junk. Just so you all know. But other than that, I've been doing my best to comply with everyone while I'm being kicked out, evicted out of my house illegally. Man went in and changed the locks, shut my utilities off. I lost all my food. Came in there like a rapist and a thief when I had PTSD from being raped and beaten. I know you all don't understand any of it. But I'm doing the best I can to continue to stand when I really just want to kill myself. But I know my luck's so bad I couldn't do that right either. Fact of the matter is, I've built a building, and if you look at it, it's a good building because I'm good at what I do. I've done my best to comply. I bought a storage building. The building I tore down on my parents' property was a bad building. My brother, who claimed to be a construction worker, built it, and it was cockeyed. My dad wanted it off the property, so I tore it down. Didn't realize I had to have a permit to tear a building down, especially when those buildings have been sitting there for almost 15 years, and nobody ever said anything about building permits until I began to fix one of them by tearing it down and replaced it with a good building that I bought that I had to rent to own, and making payments on that building. I have a candy store downtown that I've been trying to open for 6 months. because I want to put a ministry there called Convicted Confections so that I can help educate the world on the system when it comes to felons and what they go through when they try to reform and when they try to readjust into our environment or our system. And yes, I'm a felon, and I haven't been able to work in I don't know how many years between the fact that I'm that I have a disability and I'm ill, and the fact that I have a felony record. I can't rent any place. I don't qualify for housing. And now I've got a foreclosure on me that I can't even figure out how I got when I paid for my house twice in 27 years. But the fact of the matter is I've been working around the clock, and I'm hoarse right now because I work nonstop trying to move all this stuff that I inherited and that was dumped on me. I've tried to sell it. I've tried to give it away. Mr. Brad asked me why I don't give it away. I gave a bunch of it away, and guess what happened? I got a bunch more stuff given to me. It's like karma. The more you give away, the more you get. It didn't work out for me. So I don't have any income, so yeah, I tried to sell some of it so I could afford to move what I do own. I don't think that's wrong. I think the Constitution says I have a right to survive. I know the place don't look good. I need to pressure wash everything. I wished I had time to pressure wash it. I'm so busy trying to move things and trying to fix things and trying to build things and trying to buy things and trying to work and trying to take care of them. I don't know if any of you have ever dealt with a man with dementia, especially when he's a sugar diabetic who thinks he has to have Coca-Cola all the time, keeps trying to escape the house to go get a Coke. But it will drive you nuts just trying to keep up with them.
Let me interrupt. Brad, is there something that is there something better for the board to do to help them than what we have in front of us?
This is what I'm telling you. I laid it out for Brad. I got a plan.
Excuse me, ma'am. Hold on just a minute. And I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but
Yeah, well,
I mean, are you working with her, doing things that we feel like is this a positive thing? I mean, they're out of compliance, bottom line.
they are out of compliance. Things are moving in a positive direction, and Mary and Gloria have been much more cooperative within the last month than they were initially at the beginning of the case. Mary has come up to our office once to talk to us. She's called me on the phone. She asked me to come out to the property today to walk around with her, so they're being much more cooperative than they originally were. That being said, though, the property is in significant violation, and the concern is that if more things are coming from Crewdson, from the attic and all of those places that Gloria was just talking about, that it's going to get worse before it gets better. And just because of the sheer number of citizen complaints and city commissioner complaints and the overall disparity between the appearance of this property and all of the surrounding properties, it's a significant concern. So I don't.
The matter is I only got 7 days to get my stuff out of that other house, and I've got no money, no truck. I mean, I got a pickup, but I'm not going to move much in a pickup truck in the next 7 days if I work around the clock. I'm probably going to lose the majority of what I own, even though I'm trying to save it. But the fact of the matter is I've got 2 storage buildings sitting there. 2 of them, well, not one of them sitting there. The other one I rented. The one I rented's got a little bit of furniture in it that I've been moving from the house over there into it. and the other one is I'm getting ready to try to move what I can out of the house into it, into that other storage building. I got the one I'm getting ready to put the roof on. I got the lumber laying there for another one I'm getting ready to build. I'm doing everything I can to move it as quick as I can, but I got to sort it out and put it in places. I can't just jam it all in to one place because I ain't got one place big enough to put it all into.
Okay. Ma'am, I think we as a code enforcement board, we get the gist of what you both have said. And so therefore, do we have a motion from the board at this point?
I have a question. We don't have a meeting in December, and I think the earlier request was give you a little time. Can this be tabled until January? It could be tabled, yes. And well, assuming that we don't. And then that would be the, the fourth Tuesday?
In January 28th, which is 63 days from today.
So can you get it in compliance in 63 days?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If it don't snow, remember, we gotta.
Well, I ain't even gonna say that. I'll get it in compliance, rain, sleet, or snow.
Well,
As long as I don't drop off and end up in the hospital from working myself to death.
well, you've got a lot of things on you, and you've had a lot of things. And the purpose of this board is not to make life more difficult for the citizens of the city, and you are in the city. Having said that, I think we would like to work with you, and I hear an intent of the staff to do that, but it can't go on and on. You can't keep bringing more and more in and putting it out. Your neighbors are not going to put up with it.
I already know that, so my goal is just to get it stored. Get what I'm doing finished.
What about the continuing yard sale? It seems to be a problem. If
We haven't had a yard sale in a month. When we got the last time I met with Brad, I already informed him we stopped yard selling and started storing everything.
Brad, is that right?
Yeah, the majority of the business transaction portion of this is stopped to our knowledge, and the tires are properly stored, and the majority of things that were in the yard and driveway now have moved back
And that
into
We have
storage.
we have progress.
So there's
Well,
absolutely
I'd
progress.
make a motion, we table this until the January meeting with the intent that you will get this into compliance, have no further yard sales, and bring no further materials in other than what you already own.
Okay.
Is that acceptable to you?
Yes, sir.
I second the motion.
Thomas, Eggleton, Deere,
Yes.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Eggleton,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, y'all.
So
God bless you.
be working, my suggestion is to continue working with Brad, and Brad will work with you. And good luck getting it cleaned up.
Thank you, y'all. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Huh? Do what?
Will you stop finding us, Brad? You got us up to $600.
So the motion that they just made was that you have another 63 days
I know, I
to get
understand that.
everything cleaned up, and it puts that $400 citation on hold. So it's not 600. You've got the 200 and the 100 that have already taken effect. So there's nothing to do about those. But the other $400 right now is on hold as long as everything get cleaned up by the January meeting.
I understood that.
So there won't be any additional fines. It's put on hold until then. We just
Well, I
have
was
to
just
focus on
asking
getting
you
it
if he's
cleaned
gonna
up.
find us again.
That's what I'm saying is, no one's finding anybody. It's on hold until you get it cleaned up, okay?
Okay, I know. Thank you, Brad. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you very much, Mrs.
Okay, case 2.
Thank you, all. Since I won't see you till January, happy holidays.
Thank you.
Okay, case 2 is case 2019-7154, citation 2019-13210. The property is 1655 Chestnut Street. Respondent is John Ridley, and officer is James Hetty. Okay, all right, thank you, sir. James, or excuse me, yeah, James.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Deere. Yeah, since we last met, September, the property, there was 2 options, either pave or to gravel, take up the gravel, remove the gravel. And Brad, if you could go down to, there's the updated section of it. All right, right there. As of last Friday, November the 22nd, you'll see that the photo to the left shows the gravel, and the photo to the right shows it has been paved, so that that property is back in compliance now.
Okay. All right. So, do we need, Counselor, do we need to make a motion on this case, on this property then? Okay. I'd like to make a motion to uphold the citation but dismiss the fine in the amount of $200.
Second.
Deere, Dearbone. Deere,
Yes.
Dearbone.
Yes.
Eggleton,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, case 3, case 2019-548, citation number 2019-13221. The property is 1661 Chestnut Street. Respondents, John Ridley, officer James Hetty. So, Mr. Hetty.
Sir, thank you, Mr. Deere. Brad, if we could go down to, yes. Same as this property, back in September, it was either pave or remove the gravel. And as of last week, November the 22nd, the photo to the left shows what it did look like with gravel, and the photo to the right, the gravel has been removed and seeded, so the property's back in compliance.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to I'd like to make a motion to uphold the citation, but dismiss the fine in the amount of $400.
Second.
Deere, Thomas. Deere,
Yes.
Dearbone.
Yes.
Eggleton,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Okay, let me see, and then new business, we have case number 4, case 2019-3454, citation 2019-13233. The property is 1586 River Street. Respondent is Tony Jones, officer James Hetty. Is there anyone here? Is Mr. Jones here? With that being said, Mr. Jones is not here, so the citation stands.
This one, Mr. Deere, was, it's a request for a per day. I've been through citation 1, 2, and 3, and so this one hadn't been appealed. Last month it was appealed, however, the individual showed up late, didn't make it to the meeting.
This is just a per day fine request.
Okay.
He's wanting to move forward with a per day fine
Okay, I'm
citation.
sorry.
So that's okay.
I
No, it's no
apologize.
problem. He just needs to present from
Okay.
this point on.
Yes, sir.
All right,
This one, I received a complaint last November 2018, and the complaint was 13 occupied RVs. And when I went out, inspected, there was actually 5 instead of 13. However, there's quite a few. So these, these slides 2 through 5 are pretty much the inspection, and I delivered 2 NOVs during that time, notice of violations, trying to work with the individuals. So from November to, I believe, the April slides, if we can. Yeah, I didn't see any improvement from November till the April slides right here on this inspection. And so therefore I issued the first citation. So from the slides 6 through 8 shows the first citation. And you can see there's the ordinance doesn't allow for the living in the RVs, the parking, the way that they've got it, and commercial outdoor storage of that property, and accessory buildings need to be affixed. It can't be the RVs. So anyway, the first citation was slide 6 through the 8, and then in July I end up serving the second citation, and that is slides 9 through 10. And again, you can see that it's overgrown, which that's not a ordinance. It's a city ordinance, but the individuals are living in the RVs. The July is the second citation. So September, the slides 11 through 13 show the third citation, which I didn't see any improvement. It's almost like a little city down there. This third citation was, like I say, it was appealed. However, the individual didn't appear in front of the board, so the slides 14 through 16 shows after the third citation, and it's still the same, no improvements. And then I went out slides 17 through 20 last Friday, actually, the 22nd, I went out and documented, and it still looks the same. So pretty much a whole year from November 2018 till now, you can see through the progression that it's still full of RVs and outdoor storage and parking issues, and nothing's been no compliance has been met.
Right, and there was a citation of $1,200 issued on October the 22nd, is that correct? And has that fine been paid?
Check for you real quick. I'm sure none of them have been paid, though. Give me just a second. I'll tell you for sure.
I make a motion to implement a per-day fine in the amount of $100 to run for a period of 60 days.
Second.
Okay, Eggleton, Dearbone, Deer,
Yes.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Eggleton,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, and the last thing that I have, do we have any comments or announcements from any of the board, counselor, officers? Okay. All right, we need to, do I have a motion to cancel the December meeting?
I move that we cancel the December meeting.
Ho, 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 I second.
Dearbone, Thomas, Deer,
Yes.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Eggleton,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thomas, Dearbone, Deer,
Yes.
Dearbone,
Yes.
Eggleton,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Okay, one last thing. I want to wish all of you a blessed Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas. Thank you.